In this video, we are going to be looking at making a light source for the character. So this could be a mining helmet that the character is wearing and it has a light source on it. Or this could be a military style flashlight that's attached to the body, or the ones that police officers have on their chests. To do this, first of all, we're going to make the scene darker because we need to see the flashlight. Now, find your light source, which is this sun in the third person project. You can choose any project you want. I'm going to click on my sun, which is the directional light source. Now, if you can't find it in the scene, you can always go to your world outliner, and you should have a light source down here that has the sun logo with the arrows. What you want to do is go to the details sections. Under light, you find intensity. Turn the intensity down to 0. You can also type it in, and you should have a darker scene. There we go. Now, go to your character blueprint. For me, it's the third person character, and I recommend you try this on a third person character. Double click on it, and this brings you to your blueprints. From here, you want to go to the tabs at the top and click on viewport so you can see your character. At the top left, click on add component, type in spotlight, and as you can see, this is what we want. Click on it, and without pressing anything else, it wants a name. I'm going to type in flashlight, or if you prefer, you can just leave it as spotlight. If we play the game right now, there should be a flashlight kind of thing already in the game, but as you can see, the light kind of glitches because of the hands moving in front of it. So we're going to look at fixing this. If you go back to your viewport, with the spotlight or the flashlight, what you can do is always basically move it around, but also what I recommend is dragging the flashlight under the mesh. So what this means, we are attaching the flashlight to the body of the character, so in this case the mannequin. Now what you can do when you attach it to the mesh is at the right hand side where you have sockets, you have a parent socket, and you can attach this to whatever bone of the mannequin or your character that you want. So let's say you want a flashlight that's attached to the body of the character or the chest of the character. For that, you can go, for example, with the spines. I would recommend spine 3. Or if you have a mining helmet that wants to attach to a character's head, you can choose the head bone. Now, for this tutorial, I'm going to choose spine 3 myself. And when you do that, you can see the spotlight has moved. What you can do is try and move it around. It's a little bit difficult when the character's playing their animation. So what you can do is just press simulate or play, and that pauses the animations here. So you can just work with the spotlight a lot easier than before. I'm going to drag this to a decent place where I think the light source should be. Let's have a look. That's quite turned to the left. Is this more center? Nope, that's much better. Okay, so this seems to suit my character. I'm going to bring it a little bit up as well. There we go. Now, if we press play again, go back to our game, you can see the animation is a lot more smooth and it's attached to the body. So if, for example, the character crouches, the light source moves accordingly. And you can also see the hand move in front of the flashlight, and it creates a shadow, so it's quite realistic. Okay, we're going to stop there. Go back to our third person character. Back to the viewport. There are quite a few options you can choose from. So you can, first of all, under the light, once you've clicked on your spotlight or flashlight, you can turn it up as far as you want. So I'll put it on a ridiculous number, and if we go back to our character, you can see it's very light, like it's almost as bright as sun. If we go back to our viewport again, you can choose whatever intensity you want, but also you can always change the light color. So if I just put this on red, for example, you can see the flashlight is now red. Okay. Now, if we go back to our character again, there are quite a few options you can play around with, such as the cone angles, or if there is temperature. I'm not going to go into details with those, but you can change and try these settings to make the perfect light source for you. Okay. Now we're going to look at making this flashlight turn on and off. For now, I'm simply just going to go to the event graph. Once you're there, find an empty space, right-click, and type in, for example, F key. This gives you the keyboard event whenever you press F key on your keyboard. Now, I don't recommend you use this if you're going to ship your game. This is just for tutorial purposes, because you can't rebind this key, and you can't play the game on the console or gamepads or VR. But for now, just for the simplicity of this tutorial, I'm just going to use the F key. What this does is whenever F key is pressed, it does something, and whenever it's released, it does something else. What we want is the pressed. So whenever you press the F key, we want to go into a flip-flop. So type in flip-flop. There we go. And what this does is, every time the F key is pressed, it first does A, and then it does B. So every time you press it, it does something different, and it switches between the two different ways of doing it. So A and B. Now, whenever A is happening, is A, which is here, is true. Whenever B is happening, is A is false. Okay? So what you can do is drag out your flashlight from the top left into the scene and say set hidden in game, right? So this hides, if this new hidden is ticked, it hides the flashlight, or basically turns it off. Or if it's not ticked, it shows it. So if we say from A, we want to turn this on, turn it off, we want to tick this. So we want to say new hidden is true. So what we can do is say, is it A? It is true. So it basically turns off the flashlight. What we also can do is attach B to the same thing. And next time when it does B, it says, is it A? Nope. So false. That means we turn it back on. If this is a little bit complex for you, you can always go back and try and listen to it, or you can just read up on flip-flop on the Unreal documentation. But this should basically turn the flashlight on and off. If we go ahead and press play, you can see the character has the flashlight. If I press F, it's turned off. If I press F again, it's turned back on. And you can do this as many times as you want. And it always turns it on and off.